and welcome to Strength Hammer, episode 134. It's me, it's Neil, it's not Alex. I've even actually confused Neil, I remember right now, because I forgot to tell him that Alex was not able to join for a recording before this. So this is just him and I this episode.
Oh my goodness! I
Yeah,
get I get to start out then, huh?
you get to start out.
I'm first up.
First up
Take
and
that,
last up.
Alex.
Yep.
I should probably be first from here on out, considering that I am the champion and I took the belt from him. So I'm saying
Ooh.
I should have priority. I have won the priority role.
Yes, let's put the longest segment at the start of the show. Always, always. Oh boy. How you doing, Neil?
Pretty good. I can't wait to get into our a real quick blurb about lawn segment. Can't wait for that. Got some updates here.
Oh boy, we both might have some updates here then, real quick, because I'm gonna bring mine up right now as we talk about the lawn. If I can
Mm.
remember how to do this. Nope, that's the that's the balloon from the Cathay stuff. My bad. Miscellaneous window. There we go. Boom. Up on screen right now, Neil, is my lawn update from I think it was Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw that update.
Yeah, I caved and I cut my lawn. It was
Hmm.
nice out. Um, not too hot yet. Um, it was dry enough, and I was like, all right, I need to start the mower, and it started up in a couple pulls, and I was like, yep, just gonna do it, and just cut the lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, mine was about a week ago as well, maybe Monday, I would say, Sunday or Monday.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
every day was nice in the week. You know what? It was the weekend, it was Sunday. So I cut my entire lawn as well. I thought to myself, it's probably a little wet in the back. I'll
Yep.
probably just do the front. So I did the front, I did the sides,
Yeah, you try the back.
and then I
You
kind
check
of
it
started, I
out.
was just like, well, let's go see what the back looks like, right? Started doing the back. I'm like, this isn't too bad. Just one little section I kind of avoided. And not a lot of grass in that area anyway. You get a lot of leaves fall in the fall and everything, so the grass is kind of sparse in that area, so
Right.
it can get kind of muddy. So I just left that area alone, and then I did the whole thing. So and it's looked amazing, and there was only one asshole in the neighborhood that beat me to it. Right, and I heard him, and I was complaining to my wife. It's just like this was my idea first. Life of a
uh,
suburban dad.
I did notice too, and it's these don't count. Like I had the one person that beat me too, and I was just like, it's too early. It's too early. Then a week later, I'm like, that's perfect timing. Let's go. I did hear during that day all the um, folks out there cutting grass um, for their job. Like get the big riding mowers, drive around their truck and everything. So that was going on in full tandem that day too. So, but I don't think they count. They're out there making buck. They're hustling.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they're not assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so all right. Well, market mid-April, 2025. The lawn cutting has
Mm-hmm.
began. Oh,
Half begun.
has half begun. Whilst
Whilst, yes.
whilst
Whilst we mow the lawns.
whilst we mow the lawn, you can listen to the Strength Hammer podcast. Butcher words because Neil and I are very tired because we've been up a little bit early
Yeah.
today.
So let me ask you this: what were you listening to while you mowed your lawn, or do you not listen to anything when you mow your
So usually I do. I'll put on some music or a podcast.
lawn?
Granted, it only takes me about 20, 30 minutes to get through my lawn. However, since I was just intending to test the mower and it started, I'm not going back inside the house to grab headphones. I just did it. I raw dogged it.
Yeah, I used to go cold turkey all the time, but much like your attachment to your phone and everything, I find that I can't do it without something in my ear now, and because it takes me an hour and 20 to get
Oh
over my
yeah.
lawn, and I need some sort of entertainment as I'm going up and down, up and down, up and down.
What were you
So
listening to?
I think I had the old world charm on. That's what I was
Ah,
listening to. So I think I'm doing a nice. Yeah, they were talking about the Arcane Journal. I was curious to hear what their opinions are. We're on the High Elf Arcane Journal.
interesting.
Spoiler alert: not super positive.
Yeah. I remember they weren't super positive about it. I'm having a great time with it, but
Yeah.
I think as competitive as I like to pretend I am in this game, I'm probably not up on the edge of the cutting edge technology of competition. I'm just
Mm.
big fish, little pond at best, I feel.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But hey, that'll
The best
change.
group.
That'll change once we get to some events.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be small fish, big pond.
Let's see how that works out for us.
Mm. Um, but yeah, no, that's great. Absolutely love the love that I'm happy it's spring. As we're doing the long talk or the lawn talk. Man, I cannot speak this morning. What the heck?
You gotta
Worked
keep
out.
getting that coffee in it,
Yeah, I
you
do. I
know.
do. I just keep putting my veins. As we get more and more lawn talk, it's exciting to see. I'm very eager to start the garden.
Mm,
I'm still waiting a little bit because it's been off and on raining. It's going to rain again today, and I did that last year. I decided to till it up a little bit too early. Um, Made a muddy mess of it, and then it got really hot and really dry, and it got super cracked. And like I had a bad garden last year. It
mm.
was rough, so I'm trying to hold out, but I can't wait.
Yeah, I actually have both windows open right now. It's a balmy 80 degrees out yesterday,
It was nice.
and in my neighborhood is like it's like bird central at about I don't know 6:30 a.m. So the birds were so loud I had to close one of the windows. You may still hear them chirping in the background.
That's
There were
amazing.
geese flying by. It was just like enough already. Like thumbs up. I'll leave you alone.
I remember every once in a while during summer, it's like I live on a street with a electric poles out front. Every once in a while, a squirrel will decide to climb that pole and just scream at like 6:30 in the morning. Not all the time, not consistent, and like not much I can do about it. But it's just like I'm up, okay, because my side of the bed's right next to the window where it's all at.
Yeah.
So, uh, God bless, God bless. Well, um, we do have some hobby talk today. Before the main subject, Neil, I forgot to ask. Did you have any hobby that you were able to get done besides just some 3D printing,
Mhm.
maybe?
That's been the main thing
Okay.
right now.
Yep.
So yeah, 3D printing some fun.
Yep. Well,
Yeah, it's something not for me, and but it's kind of nice because I want to do this army at some point as well. So all the project files that I'm creating right now, I'm just like, well, we're going to be coming back to you sometime soon. so,
that's fair.
uh, so next time I won't have to go and design all the project files. I'll just hit and then away they go.
I
So
want a bunch of these, please. Thank you.
yeah,
Yes,
love this.
yes. Neil's doing a great service for someone right now, like you did last time, and it will be revealed when it's revealed. But
Yeah, I was actually since I was up early this morning, I actually just before we got on, I hit the print button on a and it's dipped and it's rolling right now. So
there you go. There you go. It's nice to see your printer back up and running in full again. That's what I'll say.
well, you know what's funny about that, and this we're gonna get a little weeds about the printing here for a
Sure. Yeah.
second.
Let's go.
I jokingly called myself an idiot savant about this stuff later, earlier when we did our printing episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the printer running again. Turns out I did not get any resin on the screen, so I had bought a screen to replace that one.
Yeah.
Don't need it, so that's got to go back, which will save me some money from purchasing more STLs.
Okay.
And and so um, then I bought some screen protectors, so if that was to happen in the future, I can just peel that off. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then I got the FEP replacements, which was the problem in the first place. Is there's like a little pinhole in the
Yeah.
it's like a plastic clear sheet, right? And a buddy of mine one time he printed and he was starting to get some fails and realized this is Carl, right?
Oh
Realized
yeah.
he had left the film on the FEP sheets. And when you're replacing this stuff, you have to like use like three different types of Allen wrenches to get three different types of screws. And I think there's probably maybe 50 screws to take in and out.
Oh wow.
And you have
Okay.
to punch the screws as you put them back into the new sheet um, through the plastic.
Right.
And then that's what tightens it up, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
And when you're screwing them down. And so I did my first print for this person, and it came out pretty good. To the second one, it failed. And I'm like, that's weird. And so I went in there, I cleaned it all up. I ran a cleaner on the tank,
Yep.
and then that wasn't coming off really easy. Usually it pops off really easy. So I'm messing with it. I'm messing with it. I pull it up, and then like I noticed that the FEP is like wrinkled. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, because the bottom's fine.
Yeah.
This idiot over here didn't take the clear plastic covers, the protector covers off
Off the.
either side of it, and so it was
Oh.
printing on that. It's like, God damn it. And so I had to take it back out, empty all the resin, clean out the tank, unscrew all 50 of those screws again, put another sheet down,
Oh
screw
boy.
all 50 screws back in. Just like, all right, so now we're hopefully good.
Oh my God. That's yeah. That's like doing that little home repair you thought would take 10 minutes, and you're like, oh
Yeah,
no. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's every time I work with my dad on something, that's exactly how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Hey, we just got to replace one board on the deck. Well,
yeah,
now you got to
and
paint the
take us
deck
half
so
an
it
hour.
looks
Let's go
good.
do
Yeah.
it. Three Home Depot trips later. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of swearing and maybe an ER trip.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad the printer's up and running. I'm glad that you're still learning valuable lessons.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much of a lesson there is to be learned here other than don't be an
Yeah. Well, we all go through those times for sure. Um, but anyway, I got some hobby done. Let me bring up mine real quick. Doo-doo-doo. Boom. So I finished up 10 Swordmasters to start.
idiot.
Mostly because of these three little guys up here in front, which is the new command unit, which is really the same command unit, just with different sprues that easily slot into their already current build. So it was really just a banner, a weapon, and a horn bit that I bought and painted Swordmasters for.
Must have been hard to tell otherwise in the pic there.
Uh, yeah, no, it's fun. There's some touch ups I could do on them. You kind of see like the wash got a little away from me on a few of the blades, and I didn't really highlight them up. I just want to kind of get them done. These are my 70th ones, so it's okay to not have them be all perfect. I'm not trying to win, painting awards with this army, um, but yeah, I got them done. I was happy, and, did all that.
Remember old, excuse me, old world players. You can hide models that aren't perfect in a regiment.
Yes.
So, if you're one of those painters that are very, anal retentive, then by all means, pick out all the details. But nobody's going to see it.
Yeah.
So if you sneak it back there, you're going to be all right.
Like I said,
Nobody's gonna.
I will say this: I've seen people do like the crystal blades on these Swordmasters, and that's great, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of work because you have to do two sides of that blade. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, still happy. Like I said, it's might bring about touch up those few little bits here and there, but happy to get them kind of uh, done and dusted. And then after that, I'll hear the birds. And you know what? You know what else flies, Neil? Dragons, because that's what else I finished up this past week. A couple of
Nice.
beautiful
Yeah.
dragons. I know.
Yeah.
I believe I posted a picture in the chat. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had a little chat about this. I thought
Oh yeah.
doing the purple on the dragon was an interesting choice, and not by saying interesting, I didn't mean it was bad by any means. I just thought I'm like, oh, that was surprising and pretty cool actually.
No, thank
So
you. Yeah.
yeah.
It's yeah. Whenever I didn't take it as bad, I just I think I messed. Yeah, I talked to you about that. Um, I was surprised that this is the purple dragon I painted was the first time I've had multiple people, including you, having to call out that it's a purple dragon. And
Hmm.
and you were like, it wasn't you, it was some other people like, well, why aren't you doing like the canon colors of the dragons? I'm like, I don't know, they had those. Like what?
Yeah. In
Like
my opinion, there are no canon colors really. I
it's a
mean,
dragon.
I
Yeah, I
think
didn't think there would be, other than
when I think of dragons because I'm a child of D and
whims,
D
whimsy,
things like
fun.
old school D&D. So I think of reds, whites, blues, greens,
Oh sure, yeah.
that kind of thing, right? And then maybe the metallic colors if you're a Dragonlance fan, right? Um, but yeah, so that's what I think of all the time. But a purple one, definitely D&D based amethyst dragon right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the ones I've always seen in just artwork or in the book was like red and yellow. And
Hmm.
but I'm trying to match my army, which is mostly purple and blues. So
Yeah,
purple dragon, blue dragon seem to work out just fine.
yeah, I had printed out a dragon. from Last Sword Miniatures, and I was messing around with it, and it printed too small, so I was never going to use it. But I printed this thing up, and I made it like this very bright red that kind of came up to like yellows on like the highlights and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But then in my army, like, my army's a light blue, like with its main color, right? And
yeah,
so that just clashed so bad. I had to like figure out a way to like make it look decent. I don't know. I just put that thing all to the side. Just basically, it's like, okay, I'm done with this. This thing is not happening for my army.
yeah,
So
yeah, for sure. And it's like, especially too, if it's like a key piece, having it clash can be kind of mentally frustrating for yourself. You're like, it looks
right.
great, but it doesn't fit. Like I wanted to do my Merworm in green. There's not much green in my army, but there is some green on the shields of the Sea Guard. So it's like, okay, it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I put it, just plopped it down with no Sea Guard around it, I'd be like,
Yeah,
almost
I
doesn't
always
match
have to
well.
try and find a color that, like, okay, if it's not in my main army, does it at least match it? Does at least not like clash,
Yeah,
So green, what color of green do I want here? Even though I might think like standalone, it might look better with X green, I will still go with something else
right.
that matches a little bit better.
Well, thankfully too, you can always mix in at least one of your primary colors. Like I put the blue in my Merworm, but like yeah, that helps ease the burden a little bit.
Yeah, basic helps too.
Oh yeah,
Basic
yeah,
pull in as well, but
yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like don't get upset until you finish basing and put it with the army because it might match more than you think.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, I was thrilled to finally add not add. I have three other dragons. I have the Imric model, which is a blue dragon. Um, I have the really old Prince on Dragon, like the old Metal S1, and it's a purple, and it's a rough paint scheme. It doesn't come out too often, but it's actually a purple and white dragon. And then my other dragon, which is this one that I kind of kit bashed to be both heroes at once. Back in my youth, where I didn't have as much disposable income,
Mhm.
it was actually sort of like a screamer pink. So like this little pink you see on the armor and the seats here of some of these guys. It was
Mhm.
that sort of color for dragon, which there was a lot more of that in my old army because I forget that color is more prevalent and I liked it better than purple at the time because it was still Illyrian colors. It was just
Mhm.
uh, I stopped kind of playing with it and didn't really evolve my skill with it, so I just kind of mixed it in here and there. But yeah, I'm thrilled. Dragon Mage and a Prince on Dragon. I am a competitive power gamer, Neil. There's no escaping it.
Let's see. We'll see about that.
Well, yeah, actually, we will. You know why? Because the next little bit of hobby I have is a game. Unless you have a game you played recently you'd like to discuss.
No, not
No,
recently. Actually, it's been a lot of rules writing and 3D printing for me recently. So
that's not a problem. Let me dive in because I took my double dragon list, including these two dragons that weren't finished being painted yet, because Alex wanted to play against it. And we were originally going to play on, we're on the Realm of Battle boards, so, 2 foot by 2 foot squares. We originally were going to play on 6 foot wide, 6 foot long, like just to spread out, give ourselves some space. And then last minute, some other people at the club were going to get a game in, and we actually had to tighten up, so we were going on we're just on 4 by 6, so we're going long ways, which makes it makes it a little bit rough.
yeah.
But
Do you worry about that at all? Like, because you guys play on 4 by 6 so often, do you worry about like deployment and everything, like in more of a traditional, 6 foot long deployment for like tournament situations or anything like that? Because
we
I wonder about that.
we only ever do the short board edge type sessions when there's a lot of people playing. So
Okay.
more often than not, I think we're playing on long by long technically,
Mm-hmm.
and we're deploying up to that 24-inch line typically, so it's not too
Yeah.
hard.
Okay.
However, um, this did actually show a weakness in my army because just to jump the gun a little bit here in this game, um, Alex was able to pull the win off and take down my dragons. It took all of his fanatics and some lucky shots from Doom Divers. um,
Mm. Get some itchy nuisance off on them.
I think he did once, but it was actually on my Silverhelm bus with the toughness 4. And a handful of squigs took him out, which was kind of surprising, even with the toughness 4. Like the
Squigs with the squig hoppers, were they?
squig hoppers, yeah. They're, you
Don't
can
sleep on them, man. Those are a
no,
glass cannon. They will, if they hit you, watch out. Like you got to shoot those bad boys. Shoot them and
I
shoot them off.
I
Don't
don't have.
let the like it's like it's a very cheap unit that you think to yourself, okay, whatever. They're kind of skirmishing cavalry, whatever, the goblins. But strength 5 on those things as they're coming in, and then the impact hits on top of that.
Yep.
I mean, they'll work, especially with an itchy nuisance off on it. So,
Yeah, so you'll see in the table here. There's a river, and but uh, dragons are gonna fly over it. My sisters of Avalon aren't doing anything. They're just gonna stand back and shoot. Banner of Ellyrions on the Silverhelm, so they'll reroll all their ones on dangerous, and then the dragon princes get that naturally from their barding. So I'm not worried about a river. It
yeah,
slows them down a little bit, but that's not a big deal.
yeah. I like to treat like I always play rivers as dangerous, right? Because in
Yeah.
reality, like actual battles were lost by pushing the opponent into water,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I had some Reavers off to the side here. They charged into. They had cavalry spears. They charged in and wiped a unit of like 5 or 6 um squig hoppers. Like I said, if you get the charge off on them, they're dead. They're toast. Like you said, glass cannon. But problem is, you have to really be cagey about it because they don't charge. They just randomly move into you and do the impact hits, and it's like you have no chance to
Mm-hmm.
counter charge. Not that Silver Helms had it, but you just stand there and take it, and you're probably not going to go first. Um,
Random movement, immune to psychology. Shoot them all day; they're not going to run away.
yeah,
Like it's a nice tight little unit, man. I love that in my Orcs and Goblins army.
yep. And like I said, it's my Silver Helms took it out, but they pretty much took out most of my stuff, and that's one of my threats, really. Way I look at like a big night bust like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing very conservative, pulling back, which is fine, but there wasn't much room for me to maneuver to get into any sort of flanks to disrupt it. So while I was grinding through it okay, it was just can I kill and break your army before his fanatics, because he had 3 blocks, so he had 6 in total, or 9 in total. Yeah, 3 in each, I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
kill my other dragons, and eventually, I think he got my dragon mage down, which is it's a pretty naked dragon. So it's like I always expect to lose that.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it went down. That was fine. And then my prince was just balling out and just doing good work. But
Yeah.
eventually he fell. I think it was like bottom of 5. I was like, okay, reach hand across the table. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good game.
Yeah, Goblins. If he's going to play conservative like that, it's just like you just take out his side pieces, like his flank pieces, and now you're up on points,
Yeah.
and he's got nothing really that's going to touch you if you stay outside a 24-inch range on him. He can't do anything. He's got to come forward. So you got to have to force him forward. If you have the 2 dragons, though, the problem is you don't have enough really
Right.
to feel like you can do, to threaten him without going straight forward. And
Well,
that's a list you have, right? It's an aggressive list.
yeah, my
So
list is all about pushing forward because like he was like thinking and going through and like 'cause he wanted to know he was trying to beat dragons like that like just
mhm,
a dragon because I'm like yeah your army needs to be able to kill a dragon
mhm,
for a tournament we're going to. There's gonna be like at least 4 high elf players, which means there's at least 4 dragons probably.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and like I said, it's even after the end, like he's like it's still a little bit luck based for just goblins to take him out. Even he said like if I had flanks, more maneuverability, I probably would have done something a little differently. And that I thought through that game a little bit too. Like if I wanted to beat him on the short edge table like that, I'm just gonna hang out. Maybe send my dragon mage forward to try and kill his war machines. The only thing that I'm scared of is the doom diver. Really, he had 2 of them. Um,
mhm.
maybe sacrifice that because it's like what 300 points. Kill both of those, and then if I do, I have a dragon in your back ranks. But really, just hang back, and then turn 5, just go all in and kill more than he'll kill of me because I survived 3 rounds of fanatics going into my dragons before they both went down. So it's like I can handle a turn or 2 of that without much issue.
Right. Yeah, just got to make sure that you've got some protection against the itchy nuisance, because if he gets an itchy nuisance off on your dragon, he rolls that 3 and he drops you to toughness 3 on the dragon.
Oh yeah,
Uh, you're going down.
yeah.
You're
It's
going
yeah, no doubt. I did kind of retool a little bit. We'll talk about that later. It's not the biggest deal, but
Mhm.
I did get the regen save on both of them, and I think I might have squeezed in a dispel scroll.
Mhm.
Maybe a Sigil Viserion. I don't know. But yeah, like just a little bit of spell defense, at least a one time. I need to stop it now type thing. So
Mhm. Did he use poison attacks at you at all?
I think he did. Not to like any sort of great effect, but I think there was poison attacks on one of his archer units.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, the thing that was kind of rough in his main core block where my prince was going because I was the juiciest target. He actually threw in. He had two heroes. I had champion and then two other heroes for me to challenge out. I was still winning the combat, but it's just after that last round after I killed all the heroes and he couldn't challenge me anymore. I wiped like a third of the block instantly.
Oh, that's what happened in my game
Yeah,
against him as well. So like once you get through the heroes, which just kind of hold me up and everything, then it's chat out time.
yeah. Dragon eat well.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but it was good. Like I said, retooling the lists and thinking through how I would win because I'm like, I didn't come away going, oh, my army can't win against this matchup. I came away going, how do I win in this matchup if I have to do it again?
Yeah.
But it was good. Had a good game. I had a nice
Nice.
discussion. Um, actually, and the briefest bit of news. Sorry, before we dive into the main topic here. The phlegm. Oh my gosh. This morning stuff is rough for me. I don't know. I like it, but it's rough. So Sunday preview. So by the time you're watching this has already gone live. But we're getting the rest of the High Elf range, for the standard release, I believe. So the High Elf Mage kit, which is a great little kit. You get a mounted one and a foot one. Lots of options in this kit. Just like the High Elf heroes and then even the dragons. There is so many extra bits in those boxes. You'll be excited for this because I know you're a fan, and you're looking to pick them up. Some Dragon Princes of Calidor. Looks like unit of 10 up. Yep, this
Wow,
kit
there's
build
10 in the
10.
box?
Kit
Well, that
builds
might be
10
actually
Dragon
more.
Princes.
Sure, all right.
Yeah, you need two units of 5. Oh, yeah, of full command, which is dang.
Join
uh,
a Dragon Prince bus. How you like that? There you go.
I could do a Dragon Prince bus of 20, 25. I wouldn't. I have no idea how I'd move that thing, but
Right up the center.
yeah, that's true. And it impetuous and gets charged into nothing. Archers, spearmen, the Tyrannok chariots, which is also the White Lion chariot, and most importantly, the thing I want to pick up, because I only have one, the Lothern Skycutter.
Yeah.
So, no, Necromunda, who cares about that? I'm sure someone does, but not us.
Sky Cutter. Just a really good, really good, flanker. Just extra, try to get flank attacks off, try to control your flanks. Just a really nice way to go after war machines.
Yeah, I think
Um,
you've honestly, that just from that weekend alone, you kind of convinced myself, Alex, Luke, the high elf players at the barn essentially that yeah, don't sleep on those. Those can put out some good work. Like, 'cause, I would imagine because every time I play the other chariots, they just die. Just,
yeah,
I was like, oh, that's what's gonna happen with these, and then coming over and no, they're still around. They're still doing some quality work. They're not, yeah, like
yeah.
it's
Paramount chariots are too expensive for what they do. Lion chariots don't have swift stride. So the sweet spot is a heavy chariot that also flies and is doing -2 on the AP impact hits.
and multi wounds on the shot, right?
But yep, if you can get it through, that's just extra. That's extra, like,
That's
and it's
extra.
115 points. So like if you put that bow on there compared to the Lion Chariot, that's like what 125 or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean, so 10-inch move, swift stride. Yeah, it's not even close. So
man. Get a essentially make the what's the character that can go in the Sky Cutter? I know you can put it like a noble on there and give him like the Sea Guard and throw him on there. The new one, the
yeah.
Sea Guard Garrison Commander or something.
Mhm.
Can he take the bow, the Seafarer? Can you put that on this boy and just
Oh yeah.
man, if you have line hammer in your area and people are doing really long lines,
Mhm.
Just get the bow of the seafarer, have that thing ambush in from the side, and just boom, 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 boom. Because bow of the seafarer still goes through and through. So
Yes, yes, it does.
ah,
The other thing I've heard about people doing is getting that wizard. Now, I guess this may just be in a Lothern Sea Guard army,
mhm,
because I think the item is just for Lothern Sea Guard, but so it might be hard to work because the army's not the most competitive thing in the world.
sure.
But you throw a mage on there, and you give them the item that basically removes their bonus to cast, essentially.
Oh shoot, yeah.
So and you just careen it up the board
You
and get
just
it into
sit
range.
behind.
Just and then you basically have just said you don't get magic. So
That's the best type of anti magic ever. Is
right, it's like you better be rolling them double 12s because or double sixes rather. Um, otherwise, it ain't happening. You know.
you have a just I just imagine a mage on like this flying chariot with this huge bird just kind of like hovering behind this other unit with the mage on top, and every time he opens his mouth it's like an air horn, like like just interrupting him and being like an annoying
It's like, God damn it.
stop it.
I don't know. I don't know about characters on the Sky Cutter. It sounds great, but like at the same time, um, that's a cannonball magnet.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah, it's
when you don't have a character on it, they're like, maybe they'll shoot the cannon that way, maybe they won't. Maybe they're more worried about your dragon, and so they're going to go that direction. Who knows, right?
right.
But it becomes a pretty juicy target when you got a gentleman on there that's increasing the points by I don't know what 150
Yeah.
200 points.
Hey, listen, can you get the seed of rebirth on him or something? I don't know. Make it give him a regen. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's fun to play with, but for sure it'll be a little different. But
Just take some skill, which makes it fun, right?
exactly. Um, unlike what I'm planning to do, the club day today is I'll be playing Age of Sigmar because next week I'll have a Age of Sigmar tournament, and I should probably put this here next week. We won't be having a podcast because I'll be waking up to do that. To go to the Age of Sigmar event and hopefully not hating every moment of it.
Yeah, I tell you what, man. When I went to Brookhaven, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So I mean, you're always going to have fun there, but there's stakes, right?
yeah. Well, it's actually I looked. They added a lot of fun awards to kind of chase. And one of them's Highlander, and Daughters of Cain is one of the armies I think can do okay as a Highlander. I still have lots of good tools, so I'm trying a Highlander list to do the best Highlander potentially.
Nice.
So no duplicates.
Mhm.
But with that, we should probably go over to the main topic, which has been the long-awaited chat where me and Neil talk about our made-up Armies of Infamy because we were way too excited about High Elves, and Neil brought this up too, and it was a good chat. We're gonna take a break from High Elves after this. We're finally getting this episode out. We're gonna do High Elf stuff, but less High Elf centric podcast topics for at least a couple weeks.
Right. For all the use for everybody else who's maybe, I mean, incorrectly, but maybe interested in other things.
You're right. Yes, unless they're dwarves. Dwarves are okay. I like dwarves. But yeah, so it was really fun when this whole kind of thing came about because we got the Arcane Journals. We're reading through it. Me and Neil, time of our life, having a blast, and we both realized that we want to make our own versions. Essentially, because we got a Lotharian army and a Tracian army. It's like, well, what about the other kingdoms? I'm Ellyrion. You're Yversse. Now we have the templates to make them up.
Yeah. What about more?
Yeah, we have one High Elf Arcane Journal, yes, but what about a second?
That's right.
Um, so yeah, it was we just went to town really quickly on it. Like it was real quick for us to be like, let's make our own stuff up, which we did. We don't let's preface it. We don't know if these are any good. We think they're both not great.
They're probably terrible.
They're
In
probably
fact, what I'd love to hear from most people is like, what do you think? Is it absolutely trash? Which it probably could, like from a competitive standpoint, that's fine.
yeah,
They are meant to be fun and to be played with club members, if ever.
yeah,
Like this kind of stuff. I do this stuff because it makes me happy, and even if I never get to actually put it out on a table, or if I only ever do it once, and it was worth it for me. So it's just part of how I like to engage with the hobby. So
exactly, and it's infectious with with how you kind of come across it too, and you're helping tweak my stuff, and we're reviewing and all that. I've gone so far as kit bashed my custom units inside of that I wrote inside the army. Granted,
Mhm.
they can work for whatever I want. Like they're just kit bashed Ellyrion Reavers, but um, yeah, I went so far as I want to have like a custom unit of my own made up army thing.
Yeah,
Which I
yeah,
love kit bashing. Kit bashing is one of my ways to enjoy the hobby.
yeah.
But well, should we go through yours first, Neil? It's a better presentation. I'll say that.
Sure, why not?
All right, I'll bring yours up here. So the lovely, lovely high elf cover there. High elf realm, Sentinel of Yversse. You wanna run us through it? And let's also be fair. We've copied a lot of basic text too, just to make sure we get the wording right. Hopefully, it's right.
Yeah, so I won't go through word for word for word.
Right. Yeah.
We'll just kind of go through what the Army of Infamy composition list is. So you can have 0 to 1 prince, and I said princess of Yversse per 1,000 points. That's just basically your normal lord, right? So that's an option for you if you don't want to do some of the other stuff I put in here. So I recreated Eltharion the Grim.
Mm-hmm.
And so a
Was
lot
back.
of his rules and everything are pretty much just taken from older editions, and then just with some keyword changes and things that I think would make it work with old world a little bit better.
Right.
The points cost is pretty close to where we'll get there when I guess I get to the his entry, but it's pretty close to where he used to be. So, and then of course, we have to get our own characters in there,
Oh,
right?
that's the main reason we do this, Neil.
Right. So Calandreo, 0 to 1 Calandreo, Captain of the Knights of Tor Gavel. So Calandreo has always been my personal like narrative hero that I've been playing around with since I was a kid, right? And there's a guy on an eagle, so he's a guy on an eagle,
Yep.
which can be challenging
Yeah.
to make, not just eat a cannonball and die.
Yeah. Did you
So
bake in like a nice ward save for him or something?
yeah, there's some stuff in there to
Okay.
try
Right.
and
Yeah.
alive. Yeah.
Survive a round
Otherwise,
or two. Yeah.
you need to move them once and be like, or not even move them once and be like, okay, well
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
that's fine. So yeah, and
Nice.
then 0 to 1 Knights of Tor Gavel. So if you guys have played Total War Warhammer and are a fan of the High Elves and you play the Yversse stuff, um, they have a unit, and this is actually it's not a character unit, but it's just a unit of like 3 griffins, and they're called the Knights of Tor Gavel,
Hmm.
and they slap in the game. They're awesome. So
Almost like
they
a
had to go in there.
yeah,
I
like a
tried to make them like a unit at first, kind of like it is in the game, and I'm like, you can't make a unit of griffins. That's not going to work.
no. Yeah. It works in that game, but probably not so much
Yeah,
in this one. Sure. Yeah.
yeah. So they are just they're basically like noble level heroes on a
Okay.
griffin.
So he can be a
Uh,
BSB then.
yeah, no,
Okay. Fair. All right.
they cannot because they're almost more like special characters a little bit. So
Okay.
I did have them at one point as being able to be taken as standard bearers, but then I changed that to high elf noble
Gotcha.
alone. Um, so because again, hard to make that work, and then with the points values and all that. So
Right.
I'm keeping with the Total War Warhammer theme here. So if you go down the core, 33% of your army, the characters was 50. You got your silver and guard, which are basically spearmen. You can have as many of those as you like. Now,
Gotcha.
this was a little bit of so Yvresse is constantly getting hit by different types of invasions from the old world side, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
very much, can't stand orcs and goblins because of Ground the Paunch's invasion. Uh, you know, um, they're very kind of spearman centric a little bit. So,
Okay. All right.
this is like how do we make those guys work? And then I have 0 to 1 Spire Guard. Spire Guard are your archers.
Okay.
And then I have Mistwalkers, which is it's kind of like a made up unit, but it's also kind of based off of like kind of skirmishers with like additional hand weapons. I'll talk
Oh,
about
that's
that
fun.
more.
Okay. Yeah. There's not really much of that in the High Elf Army, so I kind of like that.
Right, right.
Neat.
So a little bit different. And then actually I went and I designed 5 different, um, I don't know, not characters, but I guess you could call them characters on Hero Forge. and I made them like a unit, right? So I
Yep.
have my own personal design of what this unit looks like.
That's awesome.
I've got a champion, and I've got four other dudes that are different posed. Everybody's posed differently, right? And they've got multiple weapons and stuff, and
Yeah.
kind of looking a lot like a shadow warrior with like the cape over top and whatnot. So
Yeah, Shadow Warrior, but less dark and broody.
right, right. So
Nice.
so special. Since there's not going to be a whole lot of cavalry in this army, and it's going to be more infantry based. It's going to be 0 to 1 silver helms. You can take. They are a lot of like sea defense and stuff like that. So you'll see like Lathered Sea Guard, Great Eagles, Eagle Claw bolt throwers here in a special area.
Gotcha.
And then when you move on to rare, you're going to see like just the extra stuff, right? That you may or may not get put in there. I did not put in Sisters of Avalorn for a very specific reason, because you would take them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So this is trying to force you to do something different. So you got your Lothern Sky Cutters, your White Lion Chariots, Sword Masters, Phoenix Guard, White Lions, Flame Spire, or Frostheart Phoenix. So the other thing I should say is the prince and princesses and nobles, the only mounts they can take monstrous wise are griffins and great eagles.
Oh, so you're limiting so there's no possible dragons for this army.
No possible dragons in this
There you
list.
go. Look at that.
Dragons are Calidor, in my opinion, and that's where they stay. So,
Yeah, I'll scroll down.
okay, so if we step down to special rules,
Yep.
this is where I'm trying to basically, beef these guys up to a point where, like, spearmen and infantry might be, playable.
Yeah, I will
Right?
say what's really fascinating is you put all of your custom design and focus in core and characters, which is kind of cool. You're like,
Right.
yeah, you're really
Because,
theming. You're theming the army from the foundation up, which I love.
right. And so, because, like, let's say you spend 1,000 points on characters, which you can, and you probably will, right?
Hmm.
And 30, excuse me, 33% of your army in core, which is what most of the arcane journals are, at least for the high elves anyway.
Yeah, we
That's
just
a
stole
lot.
that. We stole that.
That's a lot of core.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I want this army to look the way I think it should look, then I'm going to put most of the stuff in core. Right.
Right.
Um, so um, so we'll talk about silver and armor. This is again kind of pulled out of some of the lore from Total War. It's infused with magics that surround the watchstones of Yversse. It's a suit of heavy armor that conveys a magic resistance 1. So you don't have light armor on these spearmen; you have heavy armor on these spearmen
That's solid. That
with
makes
magic resistance 1. Okay?
I don't care about the magic resist as much as I care about the heavy armor and shield.
Right.
It's just so much better for spearmen right now.
Mm-hmm. And so then units, and then the next one is Grim Resolve is the next special rule. Units with this rule benefit from the Stubborn special rule. So these spearmen will be stubborn. In addition, add -1 AP to any mundane hand weapon or thrusting spears used by this unit.
So I imagine, is that just going to be the core choices essentially then?
Not necessarily. So any
Okay.
character that has the Grim Resolve special rule will have benefit from the Stubborn rule. So the
Okay.
reason why Stubborn is going to be so prevalent in this army is because of just you're talking about, these are veteran troops. There's not a lot of population to Yveresse, and that population that is there is just used to fighting, and they
Yeah.
have to fight. It's not like the inner
It's
realms, where you're picking daisies and stuff like
hey,
that.
wait,
Like
whoa, 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 what we
riding your horse through open fields, enjoying your time, right? And these guys are battling, right? So they're used to it. And with the whole Eltharion the Grim, it's all about no rest, no weakness, right?
right.
We're going in, we're fighting
Yep.
to the last man. So and then we have the Knights of Torgavel special rule, which is Griffin mounts and Knights of Torgavel are especially nimble in the air and notoriously difficult to be hit by missile fire and war machines.
Okay.
Units with this special rule have a 5+ ward save against damage from missile weapons and war machines. The ward save cannot be improved upon. If the unit has a ward save from another source, you must choose which ward save will be applied. Blah, blah, blah. In addition, attacks made by missile weapons suffer an additional -1 to hit modifier to their ballistic skill. So
Cool.
um,
So if
it's
he's running
going
around solo, that's -2, maybe long range -3 plus a ward.
yeah.
That's pretty nice. That's gonna keep him
So it's
alive.
going to be So it's basically like, if you want to shoot these guys, I mean, you can level a war machine shot into it, right? But he's got a 5+, to stop it. So
Yeah.
now these guys, Knights of Torgavel, cannot take any type of magic weapons or anything like that. Okay, so you're not going to be able to put additional things onto these guys. When we get to them, I'll talk about it.
Okay.
They're
Yep.
basically, a noble and a griffin with a bunch of special rules.
Okay, but no, you're not gonna beef them up or tweak them to be your own. That this is what they are.
This is what they are,
Gotcha.
right? So then you have to decide whether it's it's worth it or not. So I'll get into see what people think about it. And then we got Spire Guard longbows. So much like silver and armor, the bows of the Spire Guard are heavily saturated with magic. Spire Guard longbows are longbows with a range of 30 inches, strength 3, -1 AP, and armor bane 1. So basically, it's a longbow with magical attacks and an extra pip of AP.
Right. Now, would these gain? I assume what you didn't give like the Heirs of Aisha. So essentially, you're not making these things full on Sisters of Avalorn.
No, 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 because
Okay.
they've got they're only armor bane 1.
Yeah,
They
not Armor
get
Bane
so the
2.
best they can get to is an armor bane 2 on a 6 instead of a 3, which would be Sisters of Avalorn,
Yeah.
right? Strength 3, 30-inch range. You gain the magical attacks.
The magical attacks is a good thing because like that's a needed thing in some of these armies
Yeah.
we're talking about.
If you've ever tried to shoot anything, even with our archers at ballistic skill 4, without any AP,
Yeah,
it's kind of useless. So we try to throw in a little extra AP there.
it is, and yeah, like they're. I'm glad, like I said, they're getting beefed up to get power, but they're not ballistic skill 5 like Sisters. So like okay, I won't miss Sisters as much, but I got some taste of them in here.
Yeah.
At least as far as
So
power goes, yeah.
So last special rule was Athel Tamara Faith Bearers, which is another unit from Total War. And so these are basically, you get 0 to 1 of these guys. It's basically an upgrade to your Spearman unit. And that takes them from a weapon skill 4 to a weapon skill 5.
Oh, that's kind of nasty.
Okay,
I
so
like it.
now you got Spearmen that are AP 1, weapon skill 5, right? So hitting in 2 ranks.
Heavy
So
armor,
hopefully now
shields.
we're starting to think, okay, maybe these spearmen might actually be playable, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
I'd bring a block of these.
all right. So um, the magic weapons, I didn't want to go nuts with these. So some of these, I like just kind of a fun one right here, Orc Slayer for 20 points. And this is a very common one, can only be taken in this army, can't be put anywhere in a regular one. All my items are only this army. You
I
can't put them
think
in
we
grand elves.
I think we both did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one you get, so it's a hand weapon, strength +2, AP -1, hatred of orc and goblins tribes, and magical attacks.
There you go.
So if you're not playing orcs and goblins, maybe not the best thing in the world, but also, strength +2,
Yep.
not
You want to
terrible.
get through a orc boss on Wyvern or a chariot, you got shot.
Mhm,
You got shot. Plus, it's theme. That's pure theme. That's what I love about that weapon.
mhm. And then Pendant of Resolve, 50 points. The bearer of this magic item gains a 5+ ward save and the Unbreakable special rule. The Pendant of Resolve may only be taken by Sentinels of the rest army. So, if you want to kit out a prince or a princess with something that's just basically not going to make them go anywhere, you get your ward save that way. Use your half points on that.
And he can't be mounted.
Unbreakable, I don't think is as good in Old World as it once was in other editions. But
Um, I've had good effect with it.
hmm,
Yeah, it's not the worst thing, but like I like that you can't have this character be mounted either. That's
yeah.
you're
And
limiting
so
its power, which is good.
I went with 50 points on this, but I could be argued down. So again, anybody who's watching this and made it this far, argue me up or down on the points cost here.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
would love to know like feedback there.
Yeah.
Um,
The one. Yeah. For all of us, like or both of us, we're guessing at these points a lot for the units and everything. So
yeah, yeah. So love to hear feedback on it. And then the Dragon Orb Staff. This is an arcane item. The bearer of this magic item may add +2 to their casting rolls and to spell rolls. This item may only be taken by level 1 or 2 mages.
there you go.
So now, if we look, so you only have this access. You don't have access to level 4s.
Oh
You
no,
have
you can't bring any level. Oh, you don't have an archmage. You're right.
correct. So there are only storm weavers and mages, and so you could potentially take a storm weaver at a level 2 and then get its cast up to a +4, so that you're casting and dispelling at the same rate as a level 4, but you're paid for it for that pleasure. So
Gotcha. There you go.
50 points on that guy.
Nice.
And then I have
Okay.
Banner of Yversse. So this is and I could be argued against this too. I made it an extremely common item so that you can put this banner on multiple units of spearmen. All right, so
Okay.
this may need to come up in points. I don't know. So the banner of Yversse may only be taken by a Sentinel of Yversse army composition. Unit carrying the banner of Yversse, in which the majority of the models are equipped with thrusting spears, may increase the strength characteristic of attacks to strength +1. So from a 3 to a
Mm.
4. So essentially meaning you're carrying halberds that can hit in 2 ranks.
Yeah, that's one of the ones where it's like, man, it's that beefing up one unit. Oh, that's great, but
Multiple, maybe too much.
multiple might be too much. But I'm curious what the commenter's going to say on it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, but it's very easy just to change that little common thing and just
Yeah, easy to just remove the asterisks,
yeah,
right? So if you're playing with like your
points feel right
best,
on it.
right? And so like when we start putting the unit together and start, you're going to very quickly be getting a very expensive unit of spearmen.
Yes.
So there's like a give or take there too, movement 5, block of spearmen. But if you're doing a unit of like Athel Tomorrow Faith Bearers, so now you've got magic resistance 1, you've got AP 1, strength +1, and weapon skill 5 on these guys.
Whew. I mean, that's solid. I said I feel like the points are right. Like, but yeah, like
Yeah.
how
And
expensive
so,
does that get? Can you even are you going to even want to look at 2 of these anyway? You know what I mean? Like,
right,
or
right.
is you
You're
just
going to be
Death Star one unit and go?
that was kind of the thought there too. Is just like that's probably what's going to happen, right? Is more of the Death Star type unit there with that. Um, but again, like if you're running like max character allotment, you're probably only getting one of these, maybe not,
True.
super expensive. And so the thought was here, because I poured so much into core, that I wanted the core to be a little bit more on the elite side,
Makes
because
sense. Yeah.
you're gonna have to take it. So if you're gonna have to take it, then it needs to be playable,
Right.
you know,
Yep. You're
at,
right. You're right.
at a certain level. So, and with
Yeah.
infantry maybe being a little bit behind other things, that was the thought there.
Yeah. If we get an FAQ and all of a sudden infantry's fighting in 2 ranks, you might need to adjust
Oh yeah,
one or two things.
yeah, that's the case. Yeah, these things are going to get dialed back, maybe.
Yeah.
So now we go on to special characters. This
Here
is
we
where you
go.
get Ellyrion the Grim, weapon skill 8, strength 4, initiative 6, attacks 4, leadership 10, 475 points. Normal Griffin, and I've done this a couple times. This is like a named Griffin,
Yep.
so I gave him an extra wound, so pipped him up to +4
Oh,
wounds,
okay. Yeah, I like that. Yep.
and I think I might have given him an extra weapon skill as well. So he went to 6 from 5.
That makes sense. But other than that, he's just a normal Griffin.
Right. All the same special rules that you get for a Griffin, nothing changed there. So Eltharion, he's got. I gave him the unbreakable keyword.
That makes sense. Yep.
So he's, if you want to get rid of Eltharion, you got to put some work into him.
Yep.
He has the Helm of Yversse. This is pretty much taken exactly from, with a little bit of change to the rerolls here. So it gives him a 6+ armor save and a 5+ ward save, and he has reroll any failed leadership tests. So
Yep.
he does not have an extra regen save or anything like that. It's just the ward that you're getting with this guy, and will have that 2+ save as well. So then he's got the Talisman of Hoth, which grants him magic resistance 1 special rule. In addition, makes Eltharion level 2 wizard who uses spells from the Lore of Illusion.
Ooh, I like it. Just Lore of Illusion. Okay. All right.
Lore of Illusion. So, and then I can be convinced otherwise on that. I can be convinced like battle magic or whatever people think would be more, because it was kind of more a generic lore. He was able to take one of the colleges of magic, I think, in the past,
Yeah.
but he wasn't able to take high magic. And you wouldn't want this guy taking high magic and somehow getting off, making him ethereal and
No, but I'd like this. I wouldn't mind battle magic on him just so he can just hammerhead.
Yeah. So.
Because I mean, think of the end times. When his sword broke, he just started throwing punches.
Mm-hmm. I might, maybe we have to switch that. Now you got Fang Sword of Athel tomorrow. This is actually pretty close to what it has been. So strength +2, -4 AP, magical attacks.
Yep. There's no way to be upset about that because he's always just been that type of monster. He's more of a warrior than a mage, always.
Yeah, and that is, that's hitting every time. And like the new lance we got, that's just on the charge. This guy's going to be doing that -4 AP every swing. So
Yeah, I do love though that in the rules you gave him Ithilmar weapons, but he's using the Fang Sword, so he doesn't get the benefit of Ithilmar weapons.
yeah, it's like that. Those are all just things that all high elves get. So they
Yeah,
just got put
I
in
just
there.
always love it. Yeah,
If for some reason somebody could like break it with like I don't know, like a high elf spell, the arcane undoing or whatever it is.
sure. Yeah, he has a basic
Yeah,
weapon, but
you got something
no, I
there.
like it. It's his sword. It's simple. It's elegant, but it's gonna be fearsome.
Yeah. So this the thought was here. This guy's almost the cost of a fully kitted out dragon.
Yeah, 475. Yeah.
So he should be smacking about that hard, right? And so I think he's close.
Well,
I
it
think he's
yeah,
close.
he's more expensive than my Dragon Mage, but he's less expensive than my Dragon Prince or than my Prince on Dragon,
Mhm.
and he kind of does both roles. So I guess it would be interesting when we finally get to game with these armies on the table. Does he just not do either one well enough, or does he
Yeah.
do both too well? That's going to be the interesting thing to see about him. Which, based on how the army functions, either way could be fine. You know?
Yeah. Yep. So let me go down to my character. So Calandrail was Swiftwind, the Great Eagle. So again, the Great Eagle gets an extra pip for a wound here, so it takes him up to 5 wounds,
Yep.
and then an extra pip for weapon skill as well. So that's kind of how I handled that. I've got him at 275 points. I've changed the points on this guy about 1,000 times,
Oh yeah.
and I can be argued down or up. Again, he is just going to be toughness 4, right? So you got 5 wounds at a toughness 4. He does have an item that gives him a regen save of 5 plus, so that's something. Um, let's see. He also has Grim Resolve, so if you are going to try and shoot him and just cannonball him off the board, he's now got some extra protection from
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Um, and so I gave him Captain of Torgavel, so attacks with the multiple wound special rule that target this character lose the multiple wound special rule and only cause 1 damage instead. So pretty solid rule right there.
Yep. Yep. That's pretty
He's got
solid.
like the better Helm of Torgavel, which is very close to it. Gives him a 6+ saves. So he's going to be a 2+, 5+ regen at the base in combat anyway.
Okay.
If you're shooting at him, it's harder to shoot him. So
But
he's kind of gonna get in combat with you.
gotcha.
He has the Lance of Yversse, strength +3, -3 AP, magical attacks, armor bane 1. So
There you
when
go.
he charges in, it's going to do a lot. If you survive the charge, good luck to him, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He's what? He's just gonna be what? A strength 4. Yeah, strength 4, high weapon skill, lord at that point, which doesn't always it can do work. Just depends on what you're swinging
right.
against.
So he's definitely a threat. He's definitely a threat against any kind of anything on the flanks. He's going to be a threat against war machines, things like that. So you're going to want to get something into combat that can kind of take the hit. And he's got countercharge as well as hatred of orcs and goblins. So again, maybe too cheap on these points. Maybe should be up more in the 300 range.
You know,
I don't know, but he is still 5 wounds, a toughness 4. So
you know what I think you should have given him just from thinking of my game with Alex. You should give something like this guy the ability to countercharge random move. Not I don't think that should be an army wide thing because that's a very good benefit for orcs and goblins. But since he hates orcs and goblins so much that he's learned to countercharge random move.
the problem with that is like there is no reaction that you can do, so you can't to actually write that rule would be really hard.
Yeah, there'd be a paragraph
A
here.
reaction, right? So
yeah, it'd be a paragraph here, but like
but anyway, so yeah, also interested to see what anybody has to say about that, whether it seems like too much, whether it seems like too little. When you're making your own character, the tendency is to
they're your darlings. Yeah, they're your darlings.
beef him up a little bit and make him fun to play. So, but like, let's say if you take him and you take Eltharion, you're at 700 points already. Right?
Yeah.
So and you've got basically a level 2 mage. So you're probably going to want to do something else wizard-wise, and that probably takes out anything else from like. I'm going to pass up like the prince and princesses. They're pretty much what they are. So Knights of Torgavel. So these are 250 points. And it's essentially, like I said, noble on a griffin. Griffin's not changed at all. And what they get is they have that Grim Resolve special rule again that makes them kind of harder to shoot.
Gotcha.
They have Hatred Orcs and Goblins.
Impetuous. Countercharge.
They are
Impetuous.
impetuous,
Yep. Okay.
and they have counter charge and furious charge.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
and again, maybe the furious charge is too much there. That might be too much of a combination. But again, that's why I put the impetuous in there to make sure that these guys aren't just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
There's no way to control the impetuous. It's just going to be there. So again, maybe the points cost is too low on this. Maybe I've done too much with the counter charge and the furious charge.
I
We'll
don't know.
see.
I'd be curious. That's an interesting one because like that's some good abilities, but 250 still feels kind of pricey, especially when we're looking at other characters.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you could potentially though at this point range take 4 of these. So
Yeah, that's
I don't know. Like you don't get any wizards if you do that, right? But
yeah, and
that's
your
4.
leadership 9 heroes running forward. Good luck.
Yeah. So I think they might have to come up higher than that. But I did. You can't actually come to think of it, you can't take 4 of them because they are 0 to 1 per 1,000.
Okay,
So
then I think that's
the
fine.
max
Then
you can get is
I think that's fine.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
Um, that was a recent ad. I forgot I added.
And then
So here's
yeah,
here is the infantry is the defenders of Yversse. So you got your Silverin Guard and your Spire Guard. I started out the Silverin Guard at 1 point higher than normal Spearmen, and then basically you can start adding points on top of it. So you can replace Valor of Ages with the Veteran Special Rule for +1. You can
sure.
take the Drilled for +1. You can make them Athel Tomorrow Faith Bearers for +1. So you're at about 13 points per model.
Which means they got to be competing with White Lions and
Right. So
things
they've
like
got to
that.
be fairly elite at that point, right?
Yeah.
Um, the drilled special rule basically enables them to get put in a marching column and go gadget spearman 15
Yep.
inches down the thing and then a reform right
Yep.
afterward.
That's gonna be rough.
Yeah. So again, so maybe these points need to come up, maybe they don't. Be interesting to play through. They can take a banner up to 50 points, and the Sentinel may purchase an item, Sentinel being the champion, 25 points.
You gotta get
So,
that Ring of Fury in there
right.
every time.
or the Orc Slayer. You don't get that Orc Slayer
That's
in there.
true. That's true. Yeah.
So Spire Guard. Oh, and they're so they have Grim Resolve, so they will be stubborn. Elven Reflexes, Martial Prowess. All the
All
and
the
they have.
basics. Yeah.
Oh, I need to take out regimental unit from that. They're not a. Oh yeah, they are a regimental unit. Then Spire Guard get the detachment special rule,
Oh, okay.
so they
There you
can
go.
go next to them.
That's
And
fun.
so when they're standing and shooting, then you get that extra pip of AP, stand and shoot. Um, so those guys are coming in at 11 points per model
Yep.
for the shooting attacks. So. But they'll get a lot of special rules outside of that. They get their Spire Guard longbows, and we move on with our day. So,
I like it. I like that they can be the detachment too. That's pretty good.
yeah. And so the last thing here is as far as the units, this is the Mistwalkers. So Mistwalkers are 12 points a model,
Okay.
also pretty elite. And so they have 2 hand weapons / additional hand weapons. So 2 hand weapons, light armor and throwing weapons. Unit size 5+. You can upgrade 1 model to a Pathfinder, which is a champion, and the Pathfinder may purchase a magic item up to a total of 50 points.
Ooh, that's a good allotment right there. Bo the Seafarer. Let's go.
Well, the Seafarer, there you are, right?
Yep.
So you can purchase the Ambusher special rule for +1 point, and you can purchase the Feigned Flight special rule for +1 point. So they have throwing weapons, so they don't have a lot of range. So these guys can be shot off pretty good, but the throwing weapons are kind of neat because they can throw the throwing weapons at if they get charged, throw them, then they can.
They're always like quick to fire
They can
type thing.
flee and do the Feigned Flight if you put it on them. Right?
Nice. Okay.
So again, these are just kind of more of your. They've got move through cover, fire and flee, reserve move, so they're jumping all around. Their kind of theme was they're the mists of Yversse are basically what that they use to defend. So these guys are kind of coming out of the mists, out of nowhere,
Right.
hitting you in the flanks and running away, kind of thing. So
The more I
Uh,
keep
keep it-
more I keep looking at this, it's like, yeah, I wouldn't put Bo the Seafarer on them, but I just love this is fitting something that like I didn't know I wanted in a high elf army. Like it's filling a gap. I'm like, I could see bringing a unit 5 of these, throwing them
right?
in like in
Yeah,
my
10
in my
attacks.
normal armies.
If
Yeah, like
they don't get touched, that's 10 attacks coming in at weapon skill 5 as well.
yeah,
Um,
it's not bad.
but that's pretty much the army there. So what you're hopefully going to find is a lot of guys on griffins, a lot of flying characters. You can get the Stormweaver in there. You can put the Stormweaver, of course, on the unicorn, that kind of thing, But then, depending on what you do with the rest of the army, you're at least going to get 33% of like something. So whether you think spearmen at a strength 4, -1 AP, with heavy armor, magic resistance 1, and weapon skill 5 is too much, you let me know.
Yeah, let us know.
Or does it make spearmen, like high elf spearmen, competitive? And I'd be curious to know. So these guys, the reason why the strength 4 is in there is my thought. Like they're taking on orcs, right?
Yeah,
Orcs toughness 4, so now we have an even playing field, right?
well, not to mention Eltharion and like Yversse, they don't just defend, like they went out and caused havoc and said, "Hey, orcs, you want to fight the best? Come see us." Like and kick
Right,
their butts.
right.
And then yeah, it's like just to draw the attention there to win it. Like yeah, so they're gonna be strong, fighting orcs over and over again like that, traveling the world.
Mhm. So yeah, this makes me tempted to actually do one of these for Grab the Paunch, so I can have
Ooh,
both the armies going after each other.
oh, that'd be pretty
so,
good. That'd be pretty good.
uh,
I like
so
it. I like it. So yeah,
yeah,
solid effort, solid work. I'm so well, clearly we're a fan of these that we've created here. But yeah, bravo, Neil. I like the presentation so much better than mine. I need to have you fix mine up again. But
yeah. You just let me know. I'll do whatever you need. So
yeah, this looks solid. Um, and by the way, everybody, we're going to link these into the comments section down below. Like, feel free to download them and play with them. Have fun. Like, there's gonna be
yeah.
PDFs that you can try out.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else to say about your Sentinels of
Oh,
Yversse?
that's it. So you're up.
All right. Well, I know I've said many times how frustrating it is that every arcane journal seems to just have a cavalry option. We were so excited when it didn't happen. Well, I've made a cavalry option for the high elves. Didn't even realize like that whole thing was kind of like that's what I was doing, but I'm Ellyrion, so High Elf Realms, Kingdom of Ellyrion. We're the Horse Lords. We're in that inner kingdoms. It's peaceful. It's nice. We got Avalorn nearby. We got Calador. We got our gates. The only thing we have to worry about is occasionally some dark elves come in and try and steal some of our black horses because they want those ones specifically. That's about it. So it's nice and safe. We're picking daisies, riding across the fields. Um,
Going tra la la.
tra la la. Um, but yeah, so character composition, or characters, I guess. Let's start that. So, just like the Arcane Journals and what Neil went through, characters are 50, cores 33, specials 50, rare 25, and I included allies for a very specific reason. Because I was trying to theme this around who's nearby in the kingdoms and what would they care about.
Well, you want mercenaries, not allies, right?
No, they're allies.
Oh,
I have them as allies, not
okay. I
not
have
mer-
it listed on my thing as mercenaries, so
I
I'll
say
change
I'll send you this to update. Yeah, because
it.
I guess I'm still like unsure like which one would be a better option. So
Okay.
so no, you and I have been back and forth on that part, but we'll get there when we get there. So
Yeah.
characters, 50%, 1+ Ellyrian prince or princess, 0 to 1 archmage per 1,000 points, 0 to 1 handmaiden of the Everqueen, period, and as many high elf nobles and mages as you want. Um, the reason I put the handmaiden in there is because Avalorn's nearby, and they're actually I think the actual leader, the overall leader of Ellyrion, is princess, queen, whatever, what have you. So I feel there'd be a little bit more ties to the Avalorn sisterhood, and they would be more willing to come help.
Sure.
That said, it's not going to be all easy. It's like she can't make She's not gonna give you any core Sisters of Avalon here. It's just an option to add in for flavor. Core 33%. 1+ Ellyrion Reavers. You have to take one. You can take Elven Archers and Elven Spearmen because these do exist in this realm. I don't know why you would. I just threw them in there for fun. You can have 0-1 Ellyrion Knights, which is a custom unit, and 0-1 Tyrannok Chariot unit in your core too. So nice way. You're probably my thought is you're gonna fill up the core, pretty much using the Knights and the Reavers. Maybe a unit of 2 or 3 chariots or 2 chariots just for fun. But yeah, Elven Archers, Elven Spearmen, pretty basic. Maybe if you have like a backline defense or something, maybe Archers at best. But is what it is. Special, up to 50% of your army's points can be spent on Tyrannok Chariots, Silver Helms, and Great Eagles. So you're probably starting to see a big lack of some things here. Like where's your good stuff? Well, I went theme much heavier than playability. But chariots, I figured, you want to have that's what you're going to want to run around and just smack into people. Silver Helms, it's a nice little extra bus. You can give them some pretty nice upgrades. And Great Eagles, we're in the plains. There's going to be eagle nests around in the mountains nearby. So bring as many, bunch of those if you want. They're pretty cheap. So rare, 25%. 0-1 Sisters of Avalon. And then 0-2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers per 1,000 points. So, and like I said, that's where do you want some backline shooting? What's your meta look like? Maybe this is where you go, oh, I'll bring some Archers or some Spearmen to protect the Bolt Throwers. I'm probably going to bring a Sisters of Avalon every time in this list. They're just good. Nothing extra special on them. Just some fun stuff. And then allies, if you want to try and compete, 25% can be spent on the following allied contingent: 1 Dragon Mage and Dragon Princes. So, why are they allies? I have a strong feeling the Kingdom of Kalador doesn't really hold Ellyrion in high regard. Like, we have dragons, but what Ellyrion does have is the best horses in the world.
Ellyrion, actually, the vast majority of like princes and princesses do come from Ellyrion. Like they're very
Oh yeah,
entrenched in the nobility in Ulthuan. And when you have another area that is considers them the best at
yep,
everything, so you can see that. Yeah.
yeah. So does Caldor really want to come help these guys? No, because they also know they're gonna be pulling heavy work if they do, based upon like this army structure. But they're gonna come because it's like, yeah, we need their horses for our dragon princes. We will honor our packs or whatever our deals and our trade and all that. So that's why I was like, okay, let's bring them in, but I want it to be hyper limited. I want to allow a dragon, but I don't want it. I don't want it to be even. I don't want it to be a great dragon. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Battle standard. Pretty typical words there, and we'll move on to the special rules next. So, Born in the Saddle. Characters in the Kingdom of Ellyrion Army of Infamy can take elven honors, but may only choose the following: Pure of Heart. I kind of like that. It's free, so I don't mind forcing that's the one you have to take because you're not joining any other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Pure Heart also seems to make sense because horses are very receptive to the emotions of other living beings. So if you're not pure at heart, the horses won't want to deal with you, and you're not from Kingdom of Ellyrion. In addition, all characters in Kingdom of Ellyrion Army of Infamy may take an elven steed for free. So base steed, absolutely free. And cannot have any mount other than a barded elven steed, Pegasus, or Ellyrian Pegasus, except for the allies, so the Dragon Mage can be what it wants to do. But yeah, if you're bringing a character, guess what? Free mount. That's it. And then you can pay for the upgrades as usual. But like everyone gets an elven steed. If you're from Ellyrion, you have a horse, at least one.
Nice.
In addition, all characters may be equipped with a short bow for free. Essentially, what Ellyrion Reavers have. Like it's just a free upgrade. And really, what I did here is like, okay, instead of making my own custom elven honor, I just said, okay, you're pure heart, but here's what you get, essentially for being Ellyrion. Nothing I think egregious in that. Just kind of some fun additions.
Mhm.
Speed of the Plains. 0 to 1 Ellyrion Reavers per 1,000 points, and all characters mounted on an Elven Steed or Barded Elven Steed gain Evasive as well as Fire and Flee. So
Nice.
you can have 2 Ellyrion Reavers that will be Evasive, Fire and Flee, which is great because it does such good work over on the Dark Elf side of things with their Dark Riders.
Mhm.
And characters get it too, but unless those characters are in an Ellyrion Reaver unit or on their own, obviously it's not going to matter too much. But hey, if you want to keep it defensive, your best defense in this army is the movement. Your best offense is probably going to be the movement.
Mhm.
Um, I didn't want it to be like, hey, here's a unit of knights with fire and flee now. I don't think I'd put that in there. Um,
Mhm.
and then Ellyrion barding, just because I have to make Ellyrion horses a little bit better to try and have any shot here. Ellyrion barding adds +1 armor to the unit. You'll see that on the knights as we get down below. So my magic items. So Sickle of the Summer Grass. The reason I did this is because Terathi usually wields a sickle. And while she has one for herself, I was like, there's plains. They're going to be cutting the hay for the horses and all that stuff. So they'll have sickles. So it is 25 points. It is combat only. Strength 4, -2 AP, and Armor Bane 1. So pretty cheap, but you want to give you know, some champion a pretty solid weapon to push out some hurt. There you go.
There it is. Yeah. Mhm.
All right, and then Bow of Ellyrion. It's a 30-inch bow, strength 4, AP -1, multiple attacks, D3 +1, multiple wounds 2, and magic attacks. Now this is 50 points. Because I'm imagining you're talking a nice little character in with some Ellyrion Reavers, and they're just trying to run around and hoping this guy does work for you.
Mhm.
I wanted to put through and through on it so bad, but like as you mentioned to me, like, we'll just take Bow the Seafarer and stop messing around. Like, you're right.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yeah.
think the multiple attacks and multiple wounds would be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
especially too, like, you're moving and
I
grooving
mean,
with this
if
bow.
you get if you roll 4 on that, let's just say you get all 4 through. You have it on a high ballistic skill. Let's say Handmaiden
Yep.
of the Everqueen, and you get all 4 through. You're looking at 8 damage. That is nothing to sneeze at. Now AP1, it's probably a bunch of those are going to get saved, but still, I mean that's some pretty good damage piping through there.
I I
So
I also I do want to point
especially
something.
at a 30-inch range.
I do want to point something out real quick that maybe folks have missed. My one of my kit bashes in here is you can technically for free put a handmaiden on a horse in this army,
Nice.
which she's part of the army, so therefore she's going to get that. I'm pretty sure I wrote those words correctly. So, but the intent is to let her be on a horse, and yeah, she could be on a horse with this weapon. Why not?
Nice.
Um,
Mhm.
that said, if she's doing that, she's probably not with those Sisters of Avalorn because they can't take horses. I did not allow that. Um, let's see. Okay. Armor of the Plains, magic armor. Bearer gains a 5-up ward. Um, and is not affected by dangerous terrain. Um, obviously, this is only in Kingdom of Lyrian army, so just a little bit of bonus. They're used to riding on the plains. I imagine they just don't care about anything they're riding across. They're so in tune with their horses. So just a little extra protection. Here's my only extremely common item, the Horsetail Pendant. It's a talisman. 10 points. Oh, and that armor was 35 points if I forgot to say it. But the talisman, 10 points. Single use. Once per game, the bearer can ignore the first wound suffered. Only in Kingdom of Ellyrion army. Now, what's nice about that, you can put that on a... I think, can allies take magic items, actually?
I don't know. I've never played
I
with
don't know. Yeah, I
allies.
don't know. So at worst, this is going on a dragon. Ignore
Mhm.
one wound once.
Mhm.
It's extremely common. I just want something kind of fun because you have a lot of single wound things. So, like with the champions and such. So, hey, this might help you win a combat, and it sounded fun to me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that little rule was put on Manfred in the AOS. Man, I use that rule all the time. That
Oh
is
yeah,
now his is every turn, right? But for a 10-point item, sure.
yeah, but
Yeah,
you could buy multiple of these.
yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, you could be like, all right, here's 4. Like they're 10 points. They're pretty cheap, so you
Yeah,
stack it up. Magic standard.
it's
Oh, sorry, good.
just buy 10 on a lord.
10 wounds ignored. Uh, But it's only the first, so actually it's only going to be, yeah, so 10 rounds of combat. You can ignore the first wound each time. um,
Not terrible.
nope. But I don't see it being great. But we'll see. Magic Standard. So we already have the Banner of Ellyrion in the custom army, or in the core army, so I didn't need to make that again. But I made the Tarathian banner for my own custom character. 75 points. Can only be taken by a model in a Kingdom of Ellyrion warhost. And they must be mounted. So, yeah, you can't slip this in on, essentially you can't slip this in on anything that's going to be on foot and sneak it in maybe where it shouldn't be. Single use, once per game, any friendly units within 22 inches of the bearer gain first strike. It feels pretty good. My army's not going to be surviving a lot of combat coming back my way, so... And the 22 inches, that's just a reference to Taylor Swift, so get over it if you don't like that already. I don't know why you're still here if you haven't figured that out.
That's funny.
Yeah, but this is the only thing where I'm like, this could be too powerful, but also I could see my army being absolute trash without a once per game try and
I don't think it's too powerful.
It's like that turn 3 Ideneth. I'm swinging.
For once per game, friend, I think you might even be a little high on the points on this, honestly.
I could be. I'm not opposed to dropping it. It's just I'm hesitant to give such a big bubble of anything that my points value just shot up for it.
Right. It all depends on what's hitting with the first strike. If it's a bunch of strength 3 attacks, with no AP, then shit, lower it down.
Well,
but if it's different, then
it's going to be on a mounted character, so it's probably going to be with the knights or the reavers. So your strength 4, maybe strength 5 at best. Silver helms could get it. So I think your strength 5 at best on some things. It's mostly strength 4.
Yeah. You may have to watch the wording in this on when you use it, because if you use it in the command phase versus
that's a good call.
Because if you use it in the command phase, then you're having to choose when you think you're being hit, because a lot of your all your lords anyway are going to have first strike, so they're doing that anyway all day long, right? So now you're just trying to see when is it most beneficial for the rest of my army to do that, and it's probably when you're being charged, right?
Oh yeah.
As opposed to when you're charging, because you're high elves and you're going to go first anyway when you're charging. So
yeah, exactly. Good call.
But
if
it's using the command phase, then that's it makes it a little more challenging to pick and choose when you're going to do it, because then use it in the command phase, and how long does it last, right? Does it last to your next command phase, because that's when they're going to be charging you, right? So
right, it would almost have to be.
That, so.
No, you're right. Yeah, I'll tighten that up. That's my view of it would be in your command phase, because I want this to be a tactical item.
Yeah. Or you could even do it in the enemy's command phase, right?
Oh, do it in any command phase.
Yep.
Oh, I like that better, because the thing is too, you're right, this is going to be used on the defense, because then I'm only strength 3 usually on most of my stuff. But they get to swing first, so they got a shot to do some damage. But I could see in a battle where it's like, oh, it's your command phase? Okay, great. Are you done with everything? Cool. I use the Tarathian banner, and my whole army's going to strike first until my next phase. And they're like, oh, maybe I don't want to charge you this turn. And if you're not charging me,
high elves. You got some 8th edition high elves coming at you.
Yep. But popping it and then just the opponent choosing not to engage. It's a pretty fun little thing. And that's how I like to play these types of games. So
the other thing you're going to want to look at is whether this affects mounts versus just the characters.
Oh no, it would just be characters.
So you'll have to write that in there too.
Yeah, you're right. Good call. I'll add that in later instead of typing it on screen now. But it'll be updated before we post this for sure. All right, enchanted items. Saddle of the first Reaver, 30 points. Saddle of the first Rider. First Rider, not. Oh, I got it. I will correct this now, because this is just a typo on my part. The saddle of the first Reaver may only be taken by a model in Kingdom of Ellyrion warhost, and they must be mounted. The bear and any unit they have joined do not suffer movement penalties for dangerous or difficult terrain. Like I said, I'm just pushing the whole movement mechanic here more than much else. You get a nice hero in there, and rivers, anything. We're just going over it. We don't care. It won't slow us down at all. It's kind of like a extra Banner of Ellyrion in your unit, but yeah, why not? I liked it. And then an arcane item. Circlet of the Mounted Mage. Circlet of the Mounted Mage, 40 points, can only be taken by a model in this army, blah, 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 and must be mounted. The wearer of the circlet cannot be the target of range attacks or spells if they are within 6 inches of any cavalry unit, light or heavy. So, not only can you not, I don't care if they're the closest thing, if they're within 6 inches, you cannot snipe out my mage.
Nice.
Obviously, there's only one of these, so you're gonna put it probably on your archmage running around on horse. But I don't see lots of mages in this army, so that's the
I
goal.
wonder if you're a little bit high on these points for this thing too. So one guy, right? It's very kind of specific um, things because a lot of the times,
Could be.
I know it's on a horse, right? So it's harder. You're still going to get the lookout, sir, with um, other cavalry units, right? As long as it's next to cavalry.
Well, yeah,
I
you'll
think.
get the lookout, sir, but I
So which usually does a great job of protecting them anyway.
mm-hmm.
I love this, like to say, like, hey, your Hawk the Long Rifle. No, you're not just gonna punk my mage out. Like that's awesome.
Yeah,
But I think you might be a little bit high on the points there too,
yeah, maybe you could go down to
because it's a
25,
fairly
30.
specific use for that. It's awesome. It's great to have, but am I going to pay 40 points for that, or am I just going to kind of lean on my lookout, sir?
Good call.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll consider dropping that down. Cause yeah, that's and let us know in the chat too. Cause like I said, we're guessing on some of these points, and you're feeling good about some things, and all of a sudden it's like, it's not the best. All right, time for my character, Tirathi Swift-Heart, Princess of Ellyrion. So obviously movement 9, you're gonna see that a lot in this Ellyrion army. Pretty much a lord stats across the line. Weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 7, strength 4, toughness 3, wounds 3, initiative 8, attacks 4, leadership 10. And she has Roelda, her elven steed. Pretty much just a horse, but higher toughness. Gave her toughness 4 because, I don't know, just felt good.
Mhm.
Which I should probably change it to B plus 1 toughness, which makes more sense. And I'll do that before I forget right now. Plus 1. So she's essentially toughness 4 character because I want her to live. I want her to be around. 30 by 60, hand weapon, light armor, shield, bow of Averlorn, just for fun, because that's usually what I equip her with in my normal games right now. While she's on foot. Ellyrion Barding, so +1 to the armor. She has the Sickle of the Plains, which is her own custom weapon, and a Pendant of Cain because she's a little bit more Cain friendly as a high elf than some others. Rallying Cry, Ithamar weapons first strike. Did not give Ithamar armor because there's a lot of ignore that stuff anyway in this army. Or Barding, I should say. Ithamar Barding. With all haste, fire and flee, evasive, swift stride, and elven reflexes. And she does count as an Illyrian princess for purposes of list building. So that 1+ you have to have, she can fill that slot for you.
Mhm.
With all haste, Tirathi and a unit she joins has +1 modifier to their movement. So she's gonna zip around a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
Pendant
Love that.
Decay. Yep. I felt good. It just felt good.
Oh yeah, we got movement 10 cavalry. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she's 220 points, which, as usual, I don't know if that's enough.
I think it is. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Uh,
Toughness 4, she's 3 wounds, so toughness 4, 220. Yeah.
she's gonna be hard to challenge out. She's gonna be there. She doesn't have a huge armor save, but she has a little bit of an armor save.
Mhm.
Um, she has the Pendant of Cain. Um, yeah, because she's gonna be shield, so she's gonna be on a light armor 6, 5, 4 up. But Pendant of Cain.
I
Before
think
each,
you can get away with giving her heavy armor, honestly. Even on,
yeah, I probably could get her to a 3 up at least. Probably wouldn't be such a
yeah,
bad thing.
I would, especially if she's going to be your special character.
You know,
So,
like I said, since these are good changes and I like it, we're just gonna make it heavy right now on live. We're doing it live. Yeah, get her to a 3 up. A 2 up's too egregious, I
yeah,
feel. At
yeah.
least for that points. Plus she's gonna be in a unit. Um, but yeah, okay. So movement 10 in her unit essentially. um, she also has the Pendant of Cain. Before each new combat, she can decide if the Pendant of Cain will grant her an additional D3 attacks or 5 up regen save. So kind of playing off the Cauldron of Blood sort of thing here. Um, whereas like it's Cain, so do you want to go in and kill, or do you want to have a little bit of a shield protection, like a little blood shield going on? Um,
Mhm.
so maybe based on what you're having to fight in a challenge, you can do it, but it's only new combat. So if it's continued combat, you're stuck with whatever you did last time.
Yeah.
And then Sickle of the Plains. Combat, strength +1, so she'll be strength 5, AP -3, armor bane 1, magic attack. If Theoldworld charged 3+ the turn she attacked with the Sickle of the Plains, not Spear of the Plains. Correct that spelling too. She can re-roll a single fail to hit, so charge again gets you a little bit of bonus. And of course, she'll probably go in a unit that potentially has counter charge, so why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? What do you think about my darling?
I think she's looking good. I think definitely get her up with the little bit more protection on there. She's already going to have a lot of protection just based on her evasive and everything else. So it's going to be hard to catch her, to even do damage to her. You worry about whatever unit she's in getting shot off and then leaving her a little bit more exposed. But she's got the protection of the unit that she's in. So you love the movement. She's going to be going everywhere. So yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I like the option of like, do I want to try and save her life or do I want to try and, end somebody else's? That's awesome.
Yeah. That is super fun. Also, don't sleep on that bow of Avalorn she has. Like I said, it in my little bit lore, what I've written, obviously she's a noble to handmaiden general, so they're friendly. Obviously, it's sort of stuff like that with handmaidens and the Avalorn side of things.
You remember the bow of Avalorn giving you the giving you 1 AP. So unless you have arrows of Isha on there as well, you're not getting the extra.
I don't have the arrows of Aisha. But I might. I'm gonna look before I add that in though. I want to double check that because
because that's like bow of Avalorn's not awesome just on its own, but we combine it with the. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
But you have to kind of combine it with the arrows to really, talk about some punch.
Don't forget, she is also going to be strength 4 with that bow because it's and it is 30-inch range, so like it has enough benefits. So I think I'm okay without the arrows because she's not a shooty character. I just wanted to give her something punchy because it fit the lore a little bit for me.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Ellyrion Prince and Princesses. This is pretty much just the kind of what you'd normally see, like that Lord Noble in betweener. But it's just I give them all the extra stuff because they're gonna be mounted, like the Fire and Fleece, Whip Stride, Elven Reflexes, all that stuff, and the Ellyrion Barding. So they also have light armor. So actually, I'm gonna bump that up to heavier so they can be 3 up too. They can buy a shield, or no, they can buy heavy armor themselves. I'm gonna leave it light. Never mind. I thought this one through.
There you go. You get your full plate there too. Very good.
Yep, full plate. So yeah, but actually, I don't have a shield option on here, which I'm kind of okay with because you can just take an enchanted shield magic anyway.
Yeah. So I honestly think you could get away with putting full plate on her just based on looking at her picture, right? She looks like she's got some full plate on there.
So, the Ellyrion Prince and Princesses?
I'm talking about Tirathi.
Oh, Tirathi? Mm-hmm. I'll consider that. I'll consider that. I'll go back. I'll consider that. She is the name character.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Ellyrion Prince and Princesses, being heavy plate, full plate upgrades are fine. Plus, you can get a Barded Steed. You can get them pretty tough and pretty tanky. Obviously, Pegasus, Ellyrion Pegasus. Can take any Elven honor, which obviously has to be pure heart. And magic items 100 points. Pretty basic stuff right there. I said not much to talk about, just giving them the movement shenanigans of horses.
Sure.
Now Ellyrion Pegasus, because I want to have a better Pegasus.
Yep.
Monsters Cavalry, it's an upgrade. Obviously 40 points, it's 50 points. Oh, sorry, I'm cruising through. The Ellyrion Prince and Princesses start out 140 points, and they have all the upgrades, like I said. All the weapon upgrades, the bow upgrades, the armor upgrades, and the mount upgrades. So, anyway, Ellyrion Pegasus, 50 points. Movement 8, weapon skill 4, no ballistic skill, strength 4, toughness +1, wounds +2, initiative 5, attacks 2.
So my question is this 50 points if you're given mounts for free?
Yes, because the only mount you get for free is the basic steed. Everything else is a paid upgrade.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So you're given wounds and toughness. This can only be taken in Kingdom of Ellyrion army. Other than that, it's pretty basic. Of a Pegasus from what you see before. Fly 10, countercharge, armored hide 1, stomp attacks D3, swift stride loner. So you can. This is where you can get a really hilly defensive character if you need to like have that thing run up and just hold things up because
Mhm.
you could get toughness 4, armored hide. You're usually gonna get this to a 2 up, but it's loner, so it's not gonna join anybody. You can get this probably to a 2 up. I imagine 5 up type of deal with your stuff, but it's also not a dragon. It's not gonna be wiping things off, but it might be able to hold up a unit while your knights and everything go around the flank and do some fun. And next up, Ellyrion Knights. So core choice. This was an interesting one. Base is 20 points. Obviously, upgrades are 7 points each for the champion, bear, and musician. Uh, magic item up to 50 points on the champion. And these are supposed to be kind of a blend of Reavers and Silverhelms.
Mhm.
So, but yeah,
Well, so I'm kind of looking at it right now. So you got hand weapon, light armor, and Illyrian barding. I wouldn't
yes,
mind seeing heavy armor. These are kind of like your silver helms, right?
they're
For
supposed to
the
be.
army.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd put the heavy armor on them. I think you could. You're not losing any kind of theme by having heavy armor on them because they're
True.
knights. You know? The other thing you might want to consider is a cavalry spear on these guys as well, as opposed to like a lance,
Oh, I
right?
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because you just got a hand weapon on there, so now you're talking about strength 3 attacks, right? You want something that's going to hit a little harder than that if that's going to be knights. If you don't want to go lances, you could do the cavalry spear, but I'll leave that one up to you. The cavalry spear will give you attack in 2 ranks if you're defensive, right? Not on the charge, but if you're defensive. So
I think you're right. Yeah, I did. I completely forgot to add their uh spear and stuff in, so I'm gonna add that right now.
mhm.
I like cavalry spear better. It just I don't think they'd be running. I don't think anyone in Illyrian's running around with full lances too often.
Right.
Um, so we'll just do that. Make that tidy up. Um, Now here's the fun thing about them: 0 to 1 of these guys in your army can have scouts for 2 points per model or skirmish for 1 point a model. If they gain skirmish, they lose close order and gain open order,
Nice.
essentially. So
But
skirmishing
if
heavier
they
knights.
well, so if they get skirmish, then they can choose whether they're open order or skirmish because they're 2 separate
Oh yeah,
types
that's
of
true.
formations.
Yeah, but I essentially
Right.
I wanted to get rid of close order. Like you want to
Right.
be I don't care if you're heavy knights. If you're skirmish, you're gonna lose that +1 in combat
Yeah.
because you
So
got a
just
lot more good rules going your way.
yeah. So just gotta modify that rule a little bit, but I get what you're going for there. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Unit of knights that's also skirmish. Nice.
yeah, it could be the most powerful thing in the
Hmm.
unit here.
And I get and again like they don't have a shield, right? So it's
No, no shield.
5+ save.
Well, they'll
So
be heavy armor's 5, barding they'll get to a 4. They're a 4 up.
still get to a 4.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
4 is fine.
Right. And considering their mobility and everything like that, then yeah, absolutely.
Right, which is why I didn't allow for like a magic standard or anything because I want the mobility to be the defense of this army. I don't know if it's going to work out that way, but that's the intention.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can get away with the magic standard, but
Mm,
I leave that to you.
yeah,
So
I'm gonna leave it off for now. I'll leave it off for now. That one doesn't bother me too much. That's one of the ones maybe in like hindsight after playing a little bit, go okay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Now they are also heavy cavalry, so ranks of 4 is all you need for a rank. So keep that
Mhm.
in mind too. And they are units of 4 plus.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing. Get all tightened up here because, like I said, I imagine you're going to take. Well, you're obviously going to take Terathi, no doubt about that. But you can always take out your custom Illyrian prince or princess. I see you're going to take an archmage, and you're probably going to take an extra noble on a horse, or a handmaiden. Um, if you want the BSB here, I'd say you're probably taking 2 units of reavers, one knights, maybe a chariot, maybe fill out more reavers, or start putting more. I might actually add a Illyrian knights as an option in special too. I'd have to tighten up some other rules, but yeah, that's it. Generally, The
And you're looking at 600 points a core, right? So you're definitely going to take the knights. You're going to
yep,
probably take we have to take at least one Reavers, right?
yep,
So yeah,
guaranteed
I
one
would.
reaver.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like much like my army, if you're asking for 33% of core on top of 50%, so just assume you're maxed out on your characters, you're looking at 600 points with only 400 points left over for like your rare special, right?
Right.
600 some, so even less than 400 points. So
Do you think Illyrian Knights just being as many units of them as you want being too strong?
uh, I don't think so because
Even with the
you're
skirmish
saying one
possibility.
plus for the Illyrian Reavers, right?
Yeah,
So I think you just leave them, right? Because again, the 33%, like once you start trying to list build at 30% of core,
true.
you start to realize I don't have points for anything else. And in this army, I know I'm taking Sisters of Avalon, right? That's
Yeah, if I want
happening.
to compete, yeah, I'm
So
gonna have to.
so I'm
Yeah.
not taking any other special. So my core better do something, right? Like it better be out there, it better be smacking, So think about that as well, kind of that's kind of where I got with my list. And you might want to play it through a little bit. You'll do better than I did
I I
by actually play testing it. But
I'm I'm okay making Illyrian Knights just a core option, not limiting them because I think you're right. I think they're gonna be just fine and they're killable. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, and I'll tighten up some of the other rules we talked about there before I post this up and make it look pretty. But like I said, that general idea is just I want people to have horses. I want them to be fast. I want them to be hard to shoot, hard to kill. And have a little bit of odd defense, not just pure armor defense. Like
Yeah.
yeah, 2+
I
armor.
think I think if we're trying to make these armies competitive too, look into the army and think to yourself, how do I kill that dragon, right? Can I
Exactly.
kill the dragon?
I don't know if
If
I can.
somebody else wins a two dragon list against me in this one, like what's happening here? That's why I think like you're not going to be hurting to put a magic banner on those guys.
That's true.
Like like I think
I can
you need
always
to give
limit
it
it
to
to be lower, like maybe only 50 points. You'd be fine, right?
yeah,
I don't want to get the toughness
more
for.
enough because then all of a sudden you're putting like say you put a oh Jesus the one that gives you the extra rend or her AP the minus the banner
Oh
razor
yeah, Razor Banner. Yeah,
you put a razor banner on them or something like that. And so, now the charge you potentially do a -3 AP. Now you're talking. Can you get through Bretonian Knights? Can what can you get through with these guys if you need to, right? Because pot shots aren't going to do it against the army that's just coming your way, right?
right.
That's
Yeah,
just trucking towards you, right?
right.
As much movement as you have, it's going to be great. If you go up against another one that's high movement and aggressive and everything else, you might be shit out of luck, right? So
That's true.
think about like what can you do to maybe you know get something that's gonna pound, maybe not too much, right,
Right.
but something, right?
Something. No, I like it.
Yeah.
I said there's a few things now. Work on tighten it up before we put it out there and make it pretty. But yeah, no, I like that. That's good thoughts to
Mhm.
just give a shot. Give a shot. Like I said and the goal is not to power game with these armies. It's to make them playable. So I think that's some
Right,
good
right,
good
right.
advice that you've helped me with along the way. So
Mhm.
um, well yeah, well perfect. We did it, everybody. There's our Armies of Infamy, our custom armies. If you're out there and you're in the content world, feel free to download these and give us a proper Arcane Journal review. Um,
Yeah.
tear them
Give
apart.
us a grade.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Would you
Like, I
take
love the
these?
person, like, and then please be critical on the points and everything too, because
Yeah. I don't know how they
um,
calculate those fully, so
it's all theory hammer, right? So once we start testing it out, we may find that it's good. We may find out it's bad, but again, these are just fun armies. So how often are we going to play them? Who knows?
well, once twice a year with each other.
Yeah.
I would say this. I think I would take both of ours over the Seaguard Garrison.
Yes.
So, but don't know if I'd take it over a Grand Army if I'm trying to compete. So I feel like that's the
Yeah.
sweet spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So, yeah.
well,
I'm especially want to know what you guys think about, like with my army. Is the counter charge and furious charge on those griffins too much? Like, does that many griffins running around? Does it scare you? Are you saying like, no, I can take care of that?
yeah,
That kind of stuff. Is the spearman too over the top, or is it kind of in the sweet spot for infantry to be, maybe even pushing into the like, ooh, I got to deal with that kind of thing,
yeah. I
So
got to get through that. That's a lot of
yeah.
points in there.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, true. And like with mine, it's like, can you catch me? Can my little running around sort of avoidance, and then I go in at the right time, is that going to work for me? Is that going to, you know, is it going to frustrate my opponents? Or is it going to be kind of exciting to see if you can deal with it?
Yeah.
I imagine my army is probably a lot more MSU style than big blocks, but remains
Yeah.
to be seen.
I was The other cool thing about this is just from a hobby perspective, what we get to do now with
Yeah,
our armies. And like, I was playing when I was playing against Luke and his high elves the other weekend. I was just like, my army's from Yversse, except for these Sisters of Avalorn and these Tyrannok chariots, and except for this and this. I'm like, okay, so basically the characters are from Yversse. Like,
yeah. It's
so now I get to have an army that like, okay,
is
this
from
is
Yversse.
from this spot, yeah, because everything's such a combination. That's what it was meant to be originally. But now I get to build and model this army that is specific from Yversse. I'm already looking up like, can I get decals for Yversse on these spearmen and everything?
Yep.
I can actually use some spearmen as the hope and not feel terrible about it. So yeah, fun stuff. And I highly recommend that you guys, for whatever type of army you're playing, whether it's Tomb Kings or whatever, put something like that together. Just something that makes it feel more like yours.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see any of our armies being something that we couldn't even play at an event because we're not going to win the event with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now said, we're not going to do that. We're not going to even request that.
Right.
But like
Yeah.
that's like the thought process too. It's just like this is
Yeah,
giving
the
us
little,
fun, something to do. Like I said, I have the new Reaver kit, and I kit bashed Terathi from this army in it. I kit bashed my own princess on Steed, and I took the remaining 8 and I kit bashed a unit of Ellyrion knights for myself. Yeah, well, I'm gonna kit bash a handmaiden probably on a horse too. Like that's fun, and it's giving me some more excitement to play with. So
yeah,
just go do it. Just write it out, like and do what I did. Make it worst thing possible, and have a good buddy like Neil who's gonna be like, nah, I think you can get away with this more. I think this is too expensive, and you go, okay, that means when I was writing it, I was writing it with my intention correct. That I didn't want it to be too good. I wanted it to be good enough. And then someone with an outside eye can go, "Nah, you're being too critical here. Or take this. This is better." Like like you said with the Illyrian Knights, like no, you just allow them because you're going to need them, and it's not too powerful.
yeah,
Yes. So, but perfect. I'm glad we finally got this one done.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully, if you guys have gotten this far,
Yeah.
boy, you're really holding on with us, and we appreciate
Yeah.
it. So
Thank you so much. Don't forget
you're
next
hitting our
week.
bullshit.
Don't forget next week there won't be a podcast, but there'll be a nice review of my Age of Sigmar event probably the week after, and more lawn talk. Don't you worry.
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah. It's raining right now.
Yeah, it is. But all right, I will. Neil, I'll catch you in a couple weeks here, and everybody
Yep,
else out there, be safe. Start cutting your grass.
sounds great.